The Assassination of Charlie Kirk, Conspiracies, Grief, and a Movement at a Crossroads. On September 10, 2025, the American political landscape was shaken to its core. Charlie Kirk, the conservative activist, commentator, and founder of Turning Point USA, was shot dead while speaking to students at Utah Valley University. In a country accustomed to political violence in words but not always in actions, Kirk's killing has become one of the most polarizing and emotionally charged events in recent memory. Since the shot rang out on that college campus, speculation, conspiracy theories, and political grandstanding have swirled faster than facts can be confirmed. Some see the murder as the tragic but straightforward act of a disturbed young man. Others believe it was a calculated hit, designed to silence one of the most influential voices of the modern American right. At the center of the storm is Kirk's widow, Erica, who has both expressed her grief and hinted that her husband's enemies were far more powerful than the public yet realizes. This is the story of a man who rose quickly in conservative politics, the violent end that stunned his supporters, and the unanswered questions that may define his legacy. A shocking day in Utah. Charlie Kirk's American Comeback Tour was meant to re-energize young conservatives ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. The 31-year-old activist was scheduled to speak at several universities, including Utah Valley, where more than 3,000 attendees gathered in early September. Security at the event was described as modest. 6 police officers and Kirk's private guards were present, but there were no metal detectors, no pat-downs, and no ticket checks beyond the online registration system. Around 12:23 p.m., as Kirk was fielding questions about mass shootings and transgender violence, a single rifle shot cracked from the roof of the Lucy Center, 130 meters away. The bullet pierced Kirk's neck with military-style precision. He collapsed in front of a stunned crowd, many of whom thought at first it was a staged disruption or even fireworks. Security footage later revealed a suspect climbing to the roof minutes before the shot, lying prone, and taking aim before disappearing into a wooded area. Investigators found palm prints, shoe prints, and most chilling of all, a rifle with engraved bullet casings, bearing bizarre inscriptions ranging from internet memes to anti-fascist slogans. By the end of the day, the FBI had released photos of a person of interest and a $100,000 reward for information. Within 33 hours, the shooter was identified as 30-year-old Tyler James Robinson, a student in an electrical apprenticeship program in Utah. His own father recognized him from the photos and turned him in, after first consulting his local Mormon bishop. The accused Robinson's background has only fueled speculation. His parents are registered Republicans, but his own political ideology remains murky. Investigators say his transgender roommate, who was also his romantic partner, showed them messages in which Robinson described retrieving a rifle from a drop point, wrapping it in a towel, and engraving bullets with cryptic messages. Prosecutors have since charged Robinson with aggravated murder, obstruction of justice, and weapons offenses. They intend to seek the death penalty. His defense attorneys have suggested he struggles with mental health issues. For law enforcement, the case seems straightforward. One gunman, one weapon, a deliberate and planned assassination. But for Kirk's supporters, and even some neutral observers, too many details remain unexplained. The inscriptions that sparked theories. One of the most bizarre elements of the case is the bullet inscriptions. According to affidavits, the casings bore phrases such as, "Notices bulge, oh whoa, what's this?" A meme drawn from furry roleplay culture. "Hey fascist, catch!" Followed by a sequence resembling a video game command from Helldivers 2. "Oh, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao." Lyrics from an Italian anti-fascist anthem. If you read this, you are gay. Juvenile internet trolling language. To investigators, these engravings may suggest Robinson was immersed in online subcultures that mix irony, gaming, political extremism, and internet humor. But to others, the sheer oddity of the inscriptions feels staged, as though designed to muddy the waters and leave behind a trail of confusion. Was Robinson sending a political message? Was he mocking his target? Or were the inscriptions intended to make the killing look like the act of an unhinged loner, when in fact larger forces were at play? Erica Kirk's defiant grief. The most emotional words in the days after the assassination came from Kirk's widow, Erica. Married to Charlie since 2021 and mother of his 2 children, she had long been a visible partner in his political life. a former actress and model, Erica embraced her husband's far-right ideology and often spoke publicly about faith, family, and traditional gender roles. At a memorial, she addressed the crowd through tears. "The evildoers responsible for my husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and God's merciful love. But if you thought my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea what you have unleashed across this entire country." Her words were not simply a tribute. They were a rallying cry, a promise that Kirk's movement would not die. In conservative circles, the speech was hailed as both heartbreaking and inspiring. But her suggestion that evildoers beyond the accused shooter were involved poured gasoline on the fire of conspiracy theories. Whispers of billionaires and leaked messages. Almost immediately, conservative commentators and internet sleuths began speculating that Kirk had been targeted for going up against powerful interests. Candace Owens, one of his closest allies, claimed that Kirk had been under immense pressure from billionaires he had once taken money from, and that the truth will be revealed when messages leak. What messages? From whom? Owens did not clarify, but her words echoed what the streets, the chatter on social media and fringe forums, had already been claiming: that Kirk had spent the last 2 weeks of his life in conflict with wealthy backers over the direction of his commentary. Erica herself has not produced evidence of such messages, but has hinted that Kirk confided in her about threats he received. Whether these threats came from donors, political opponents, or random trolls remains unclear. For many of Kirk's admirers, it hardly matters. The idea that billionaires silenced him for speaking too much truth is already woven into the narrative of his martyrdom. The rise of Charlie Kirk. To understand why Kirk's death has provoked such strong reactions, it's worth recalling his rapid rise. Born in Illinois in 1993, Kirk founded Turning Point USA at just 18 years old. By leveraging social media and campus organizing, he turned the group into a juggernaut of conservative youth politics. Kirk became known for fiery campus speeches, viral soundbites, and relentless defense of Donald Trump. His style was combative, often mocking liberals and centrist Republicans alike. He relished the role of provocateur, portraying himself as the champion of young conservatives silenced by woke culture. By his late 20s, Kirk had authored books, hosted podcasts, and forged close ties with the Trump family. Turning Point's conferences attracted thousands of students, celebrities, and politicians. He was not merely an activist, but a brand, one that blended politics, religion, and culture war rhetoric into a potent identity. For his supporters, he was the voice of a generation. For his critics, he was the embodiment of dangerous demagoguery. Conspiracy theories take hold. Given Kirk's prominence and polarizing persona, it was inevitable that his murder would spawn conspiracies. Within hours of the shooting, online forums were buzzing with theories that it was a professional hit by a foreign nation or rogue elements of the U.S. government, that it was linked to U.S. policy in Ukraine, or Kirk's outspoken views on Israel and the Epstein files, that the death was staged altogether, pointing to footage where his wedding ring appeared to switch fingers, that people standing near him during the speech made unusual gestures, as though signaling the shooter. These claims range from the plausible, a politically motivated killing with outside involvement, to the absurd, a staged death with body doubles. Yet the longer official investigators take to release a clear motive, the more these theories thrive. Political fallout. In Washington, both Democrats and Republicans expressed shock. The House of Representatives passed a bipartisan resolution honoring Kirk's contribution to political discourse, a move that surprised even some of his critics. Donald Trump hailed him as a martyr for freedom at a memorial service. At the same time, progressive commentators warned against turning Kirk into a saint. They noted his long record of inflammatory rhetoric against marginalized groups and his role in amplifying Trump's false claims about the 2020 election. Yet in death, Kirk's symbolic power has only grown. For many conservatives, he is now an icon, not just of political ideology, but of sacrifice. The investigation and what comes next.